Best X570 value. There you go. When we talk about X570 motherboards, there is not really much you can find under 200 bucks. There are actually some options for around 150, 160, but personally I wouldn't recommend those. At that price point it's probably better going for a good B450 motherboard. But today we're gonna look at the best option you can find for this price range for the 200 bucks, since there are actually some good alternatives also in terms of overclocking, but we are going to see that aspect also in a while. So this ASUS has just arrived. As you can see, today we're talking about the TUF Gaming X570-PLUS, and this comes in two flavors, Wi-Fi and non-Wi-Fi version. Nevertheless, I went for the non-Wi-Fi version. The difference among the two is only 10-15 bucks. I don't need any Wi-Fi because I always used my personal PC with LAN cable. Nevertheless, due to the small difference, probably you can think about purchasing the Wi-Fi version, but there is something that you need to pay attention. So as you can see from these two images that I'm posting here, there is one PCI Express 4.0 X1 which is missing in the Wi-Fi version. So in my personal case, I prefer to add one additional expansion slot instead of the Wi-Fi that I don't need anyway. Other alternatives at similar price are available. You can see in these pictures we have several options from different manufacturers. So the ASRock X570 Steel Legend, the MSI MPG X570 Gaming Edge Wi-Fi, and also the Gigabyte X570 Aorus Elite. But nevertheless, out of all these motherboards, the ASUS TUF Gaming as well as the Aorus Elite have the absolutely best VRM set. So they're the best candidates for overclocking. And we also should mention that this X570 Plus TUF Gaming has basically the same VRM layout that you can find in the $280 Strix F, as well as on the 260 bucks ASUS Prime Pro. So basically you are getting 12 plus 2 power faces at around $200 or maybe even less depending on your shop, which is an absolute bargain, since basically you can also do great overclocking with these boards. In fact, I think I'm gonna use an overclocked 3900X with this board. And here is the box, so let's start looking at the unboxing. Here we have the board with the anti-static back. We have a TUF certificate of reliability. Two serial SATA cables, usual back plate, M.2 screws, user's guide, also some fancy stickers you can see here, CD, we're never gonna use that, and a quick guide as well. There's also 20% off on cable mod cables. So let's take back the motherboard and proceed with another analysis. So let's analyze what we have. We have the chipset, which is actively cooled by the usual fan that you find almost in all X570 boards. We have RGB lightings only here. There is anyway compatibility with addressable lighting as well, as after all new boards. There are the usual 4 DIMM slots with a maximum amount of 128 gigabytes of DDR4. The maximum speed, overclock speed, it's 4400, depending also on the Ryzen processor you're gonna use. This is obviously a dual channel memory architecture. There is also obviously there are a couple of M2 possibility, M2 slots, one here and one here. I find quite strange that they are not using a heat spreader also here, because usually this is the first one, is the one that is gonna be used. Nevertheless, we have these two M2 slots with M key, obviously, and they support obviously their type 2242, 2260, 2280 and 22110. We can see also 8 serial ATA ports, 4 here and 4 here on the right. As for the PCI Express slots, we can see them all here. So we have one PCI Express 4.0 X16 mode, one PCI Express 4.0 maximum at 4X mode, and 3 PCI Express at 1X, these 3 here. On the lower left section of the board we can find the Realtek S1208, which is an 8-channel high-definition audio codec. It also has a DTS custom support for gaming headsets. Obviously there is audio shield, we can see it here. So basically it's separated from the rest of the circuits. There is also a dedicated audio PC layer in order to separate the left and right channels in order to improve quality and audio signals. We can also see we have premium Japanese audio capacitors that provide a warm and immersive sound experience. Now let's have a look to the back of the board and look at what kind of ports we have. Let's have a look at the back panel. So regarding I/O ports, we have one display port here, an HDMI, then we got the PSD2 combo port, and after that we have the LAN RJ45 port, which supports anyway Gigabyte Ethernet connection. We also have 3 USB 3.2 Gen 2 ports. So basically one of them is obviously a Type-C, as you can see here. So 2 here, 1 here. And we also have those 4 3.2 Gen 1 ports you can find with the blue here. And obviously the 5 audio jacks plus the optical SPDIF out. So apart from these 7 ports, USB ports here, we also have additional ones on the board. So there should be 4 additional ones, which is plenty. The main 2 heatsinks seem pretty solid and big, so they should do a great job. And obviously this board supports by default, by factory, any Ryzen CPU out so far, from Ryzen 3 to Ryzen 5, Ryzen 7, until the latest Ryzen 9 up to the 3950X, which is the most powerful CPU from AMD so far, with 16 cores and 64 megabytes of L3 cache. This board doesn't need a particular BIOS update, but due to the longevity of the AM4 socket, in case you have a previous board, like I don't know, an X370 board for example, please make sure you have your BIOS updated before upgrading to a more recent CPU like the Ryzen 9. For the ASUS motherboards, there is a small trick in order to understand how your motherboard is shipped, with which BIOS revision. So basically it's very simple. You just need to look for this stick here, where you have a barcode with some numbers underneath, and just look at the last 4 digits. In my case is 1201. So it's not the most recent BIOS, but it's not even one of the earliest ones. That's a small trick you can find in order to see if your motherboard already supports the CPUs that you like to mount. Now, cooling wise, the ASUS TUF Gaming X570-PLUS managed to have a very respectable 6 PWM fans. As you can see here, they are all located all over the world, and one of which also supports an all-in-one water pump. As for troubleshooting, even if we don't have any display LED, we do have an easy debugger that will help understanding what's wrong in case of a failed boot. So we have 4 LEDs in total, starting from DRAM, CPU, VGA and boot. So there's really not much more to say. For 200 bucks you get a great motherboard, packed with features and with amazing VRM phases. So this can handle basically anything. It's a beast in terms of overclocking, so you can push, we can control it 3900X or 3950X, and it will handle it without any issues, even overclocked. Obviously you still need to have a good flow, good airflow in your case, otherwise probably is more suggested to go for a 400 bucks motherboard, which basically will have better power phases as well as better temperatures on the PCB. But apart from that, I'm really satisfied with this purchase. Probably I need to check a bit more the ASUS software, since I see many complaints on some forums, especially on the new crappy ARGB software they released, which is going to replace the ASync. But nevertheless, I'm sure they will find a way to fix it, since it's currently still in beta. And let me know in the comments below what you think about this motherboard, if you purchased it, or if you have any questions or comments for me. You're welcome to ask me anything, and please make sure also to hit that subscribe and like button. That will help me as usual. Did you do it? I'm looking at you. See you in the next one.